Greetings, Tomasio here, and we are dealing with a lot of things that are breaking as we speak. And one of the things that keeps coming up is Donald Trump has said that no Muslims are to come into this country until we figure out what's going on, meaning as long as Christians are having their heads chopped off, uh, we can't let people come into this country who want to chop off Christians and Americans' heads off. Okay, and so I asked Father Frank Pavone about what Trump is proposing. Okay, and people are not believing. So I want you to hear for yourself Father Pavone at Franciscan University of Steubenville what his response was to whether or not he supports Trump's ban on letting Muslims temporarily come into this country. This is what he had to say. Let's listen to that again. Okay. All right. So, it was clear. I asked the question. That's the bottom line. I asked the question. I very specifically, clearly asked the question because of I knew, it's controversial, uh, and I respect Father Frank. He's on the front lines fighting evil every day of his life. He's on the front lines of the abortion clinic and trying to convince these girls not to abort their babies. And he's getting threats all the time. He knows, he can think clearly. Okay, so what this means is that Donald Trump is taking a stand. He said he will destroy ISIS. That's what Trump has said. Why does he want to destroy ISIS? Because they're chopping heads off of Christians. They're putting children in cages. They're raping Yazidi women. They're doing horrible things that even John Kerry has said it's a genocide. People have to leave their homes. They've been living in there for thousands of years, generations, hundreds of years. And now they got to leave their homes because uh, ISIS, who are Islamic, don't want them there. And so they're either going to kill them or force them to leave. And they've been very successful at doing this. And so we want them to come into America to bring this same philosophy and barbarism into America. And Donald Trump saying, no, we don't. We are going to protect our borders and we're going to do what we can to destroy ISIS. And he has talked about, these people shouldn't have to leave their homes. They really shouldn't have to leave their homes. because of their religion. That's ridiculous. So Father Frank has said it. I keep playing it over and over, and people keep saying, "Oh, he never said it." He did say it. He has no problem with what Trump is saying, and Father Frank even wanted to say force if necessary. So this is the fundamental question, because we have a problem now. Do Christians just roll over and die and have their heads chopped off without putting up a fight? Um, I mean, Jesus went to the cross, right? So we could follow Jesus to the cross. All the Christians just give up your children, give up your own lives, let Muslims. If you don't want to convert, then you know volunteer to have your head chopped off. I mean, if that's what your Christianity is, and that's what I'm trying to say. Pope Francis, who took the name after Saint Francis, he's got to realize Saint Francis tried to evangelize Muslims. He tried to convert them to Christianity. That's what he tried to do. Now, you try to convert a Muslim to Christianity over in where Sharia law exists, and then the next thing you're either killed or thrown in jail or your house burned down, whatever. I don't live there. I live in America. We're allowed to preach the gospel here in America. And I hope that that continues, and I believe that Donald Trump is the guy that will make sure that Christians are allowed to continue to evangelize here in America. That means Jehovah's Witnesses can go door to door. That means Mormon missionaries can go all around. And you know what? If the Muslims want to try to convert people too, they can, as long as they're not chopping people's heads off to do it. That's the power of the truth. If you have the truth, then, proclaim that truth. We don't want to lose that freedom here in America. Trust me, we don't want to lose that freedom. That's very, very important. If you can't proclaim, your faith freely without fear of getting your head chopped off. So I applaud Father Frank Pavone. Father Frank is doing the right thing. He's clearly calling a spade a spade. He's saying something has to be done. It's ridiculous. He's standing up for babies in the womb. He's saying that you shouldn't be killing children in the womb. This soul is formed at conception, right? So what's happening is these souls are having their bodies taken from them. And that's ridiculous. And Father Frank rightly is defending the right to life of preborn children. Okay? And so it follows that he's going to defend the life of born people too. And trust me, he's not saying just the Christians we're going to defend, but the Yazidis. I mean, what's going on? Like, these poor people, it's been horrible what's been happening. The women are taken, they're made sex slaves. It's horrible. It's absolutely disgusting. To be quite honest and frank, it's disgusting. So, if all of a sudden, the Sikhs, we hear about the Sikhs are being, their heads are being chopped off, okay? Same outcry here. Okay, no one should have their heads chopped off because of their religious beliefs. It just so happens that it's the Christians that are getting their heads chopped off right now, as well as the Yazidis, but primarily the Christians, and a genocide has been declared. So Father Frank is 100% correct. He's right. And if you are a Catholic and you disagree, then I don't know what to tell you. If you want to just volunteer to have your head chopped off, go ahead. But I have kids, and they want to have kids. And trust me, I'm a father, and I will defend my children. I clearly will. And I appreciate Donald Trump wanting to protect our borders from people who are A, illegal, B, have bad intentions for coming into this country to harm people, harm children, harm Christians, whoever. And those people we don't need and don't want in this country. So, well, where else should they go then, right? If they can't come to America, you know what? Every country's got to decide. You want to let people into your country that is going to, do horrible things like murder people and chop their heads off? I would say I wouldn't vote for you if you're a president that's going to put your people at risk. I would not vote for you. Okay? And these countries have got to start working together, Russia, United States, and put an end to this nonsense. Put an end to it. That's the right thing to do. That's the correct thing to do. So thank you, Father Pavone, for your strong words, and keep up the fight for life. Appreciate it, and I will continue to support Donald Trump because of his willingness to protect religious freedom in America. Thank you.